favor. This is one more, please. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Otra, por favor.
Otra, por favor.
Hey, how are you today, Steph?
I'm good. It's so cold outside, but it feels nice. It's welcomed.
It feels like we're in Christmas already.
It does. I'm waiting for a little snowflake to fall. That's not happening.
Like just a little snowflake, not the freeze apocalypse that we had in 2021.
No, we don't want that. No, I just like to see one Christmas snowflake this year.
Just one Christmas.
Well,
just Christmas Eve.
Yes,
and
Christmas
after
Eve,
that you
just
can
one,
melt.
and I want it to land on my cheek.
There we go. There we go. And then I would do angels, snow angels. Thank you for being here, and also thank you for reaching out to us. So today it was supposed to be the last week was kind of supposed to be the last episode of the year here in Austin, but then we have a friend Ernie. Shout out. He reached out to me like, hey, Steph from Bidi Bidi Banda wants to come and talk about their farewell tour. Yeah, but it's not really a farewell tour. It's
a retirement tour. So that sounds kind of funny, right? So we're retiring from touring, which means that we're going to be on the road significantly less.
Okay.
Yes.
So and I'm being pretty like being in the band. I'm pretty sure, and we're going to talk about that. Yeah. But it's a lot of work.
It's so much work. Yes, and that's kind of the impetus for why we're taking a break is it's so much work. I really don't have time to do anything else creatively. We really had just kind of like hit the ground running from May of 2014 to December of 2024. We never really stopped. And it's been wonderful. But now that like my son is getting older, I'm getting a chance to kind of take a breath and be like, okay, what do I want to do after this? You know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we're taking a break. So the goal is to move over to what we're calling an offer-only scenario. So that means if we're going on a show, to play a show, we're really only going to play that one show. We're not trying to, unless it's very lucrative or unless something changes, I'm not trying to be on the road for 10 days in a row. Unless I need to be, and that's a whole different scenario.
So you've been on the road for 10 days in a row?
We've done a tour every year since the band started.
Oh, wow.
Some years we've done 2 tours. The year that my son was born, we played 86 shows. Mm-hmm. And that's with almost everyone in the band having full-time jobs, families, children, cars, things that they need to check in on in Austin and San Antonio. So we've been going so hard for so long. I'm just now getting a breath and being like, okay, I think I'm ready to be Stephanie Bergara. Because it's great to go to HEB and have someone be like, it's Bidi Bidi Banda. And I'm like, yeah, it's me. But also, like, I'm ready to kind of take a breath and be Stephanie Bergara, which is going to be nice.
That's good, Stephanie. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And before we introduce it, you're going to have a couple of we go into your story. We're going to have a couple of shows. One is on the 21st at Mohawk.
So December 21st at Mohawk, Austin, with Llamativa, a all-woman cumbia band from San Antonio. They're so good.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I like cumbia. So here's whenever I'm working at I'm a financial controller. So when I'm doing spreadsheets, I'm always listening to something that gets me going.
Yeah, you have to. It's like the energy. It's the lifeblood of like Mexican work ethic is the cumbia music.
Oh yeah. I agree with that. My boss comes in and he's like, okay, you're getting the job done. I'm not even going to question it. So I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
And then the 22nd is going to be at Paper Tiger.
Yes. So December 22nd, we're playing a show at Paper Tiger, which is one of the first places we played in San Antonio. We're playing that show with our friend Leon Sanchez, who sometimes plays guitar in Bidi Bidi Banda, and he sometimes plays bass too. And then our friends in this band, they're great, called Para Más. They're a Paramore tribute band. They're going to open for us.
Para Más. Nice.
So fun. And our guitar player Luke plays in that band. Yeah, it's great.
Oh man, I've never heard of that Para Más.
They're good.
Paramount tribute, but it should be fun.
It'll be fun.
If I was here, in that moment or that time, I would be going to the shows. But unfortunately, I'll be in Mexico City.
It's a risk. It's a big risk to play shows 2 days before Christmas.
Yeah.
Because everyone's gone. But, the band, myself and the band, and we can go more into my story, but the band and myself, we are from Austin. We are from San Antonio. So it felt right to have our last 2 shows be hometown shows you know?
Yeah.
We have already played our big show in Tucson, which is a big market for us. We played in Huntsville, Alabama this year, which is another big market. And we did our last Dallas show about a month ago, and that went really, really well. But it feels good to come home and have these be the last two things for our friends and our fans who are here.
And go to HEB whenever you want. And have to worry about tour.
Yeah, and like just like not have expired groceries and like you're like, oh, I forgot to take my trash out again this week. Man. Oh my gosh, that's the worst. That ruins the whole week.
Yeah, I've never really like I've interviewed or recorded with several bands, but they never talk about like the day-to-day stuff that they miss when they go on a tour, which we're gonna talk about later on. But first, I want to say cheers.
Oh, salud. Yep.
Y salud. So I want to. The first question I have is. Modelo, thank you for the beers that we bought.
It's delicious, thanks. That we bought.
Looking at like at yourself is where are you originally from, and how did your childhood forge the person you are today?
Sure, I am from Austin. I was born and raised in Austin. I was born in a hospital that no longer exists, the St. David's Hospital right there on I-35. My whole family's from here. I have a mom and a dad and my brother. We're just the four of us, immediate family. I grew up in the Del Valle neighborhood. I went to high school and finished in Del Valle. And I, before that, grew up in the Dove Springs neighborhood. Okay. So Southeast Austin is really kind of my stomping grounds. And it was great. Austin was a very different, much smaller place. But it always felt like there was some magic to it. You know, even growing up, it was always we were always conditioned to take in live music and to appreciate it. And I've always believed that musicians deserve respect. I always wanted to play music. I always wanted to play Tejano music. So Tejano music, like cumbia, for me is like the lifeblood of every memory I have as a child. Mm-hmm. So all of I remember my first communion party, my mom was blasting like Grupo Mas in the living room and like making all this food for my first communion party, my dad's birthday party, quinceañeras, all things like that. The running theme in all of that, no matter what the tone of the day was that there was Tejano music playing. There was Selena playing. I remember being 8 years old the first time I saw Selena on television. Of course, I'd seen pictures of her and things like that. I never got to see her play live, but I grew up just seeing this woman on television for the first time and being like, that's exactly what I want to do. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but that's what I'm going to do. And she was so sparkly and beautiful. And the moment I'm talking about in particular was the beginning of the Tejano Music Awards, where she had the red strappy bustier. She opened the show, and she looked so beautiful and so shiny and like just like an otherworldly, but also she looked like otherworldly, but also like somebody who could be related to me, if that makes sense. Yeah. And she was so beautiful. And I remember thinking to myself, that's what I want to do with my life. But I didn't ever think at the time or since then, till I started Bidi Bidi Banda, that I would take it so seriously, you know, take it so literally, like become a Selena tribute. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. But it's been really fun. And the band kind of started, I used to say the band started as a joke. Not as a joke. It started as what was supposed to be a one-time thing. Mm-hmm. We were going to play one time. So I used to work for a festival in town called Pachanga Latino Music Festival. Mm-hmm. And it was a international Latino music festival. So not just Tejano. We had Calle 13 headline one year. We had all different kinds of bands perform. And that's since gone on to be a music series at ACL Live at the Moody Theater. Every year or how? They do, yeah, just different Latino shows will be branded as the Pachanga Latino Music Series. Okay. Yeah.
Is it very similar to what Karin Leon did this year, or is it part of a different series?
Oh, Karin Leon did an ACL taping. So he did the taping with the folks at Austin City Limits, the television show, which is iconic in its own right. Like Karin Leon is huge to me and to people like me who listen to his music, but to be recognized in the way that he was by Austin City Limits, the longest running episodic television series in the country, is so cool. And it's such a huge tip of the hat to what is happening with regional Mexican music right now. It is so awesome to see that, you know. And I say that as a person who's seen Grupo Frontera twice and Karin Leon, and I am all consuming in all of this. I love it. My 7-year-old loves it. My mom loves it. It's for everyone. Yeah. It's very cool. So, yes, I used to work for Pachanga Festival, and the first show we ever did was actually a kickoff party for Pachanga Festival in 2014. I put a band of 10 people together, members of this band used to be called Este Vato, members of all kinds of bands from all over the city. And we tried to learn 7 songs. We ended up getting through 6 of them. And the rest is history. The first show we ever played was at Empire Control Room in May of 2014. And the next show we played was in October at a Circuit of the Year Formula One Fan Fest against
Wow.
I know.
That was a big jump.
It was a big jump, yeah. We opened for a band called La Vida Boheme I think they're out of Mexico, but that's probably wrong. But we opened for them for our first show, and then we played against De La Soul for our second show. Mm-hmm. So it's, like I said, we've just been going for 10 years, and like I was the booking agent for the band, and I got started in the music industry. I've only ever worked in music. I've done like waitress jobs and other things like that, but my entire work experience is in music. And it started because I got into the industry not ready to start my own band, but thinking when I'm ready to start my band, I don't want to have to ask anybody for help. I don't want to depend on anybody to make my dreams come true, because these are my dreams, and I need to be in control of my destiny. And since then, we've gone on to have a wonderful manager, Pamela, who helps us, and we've gotten, bookings here and there. But when I was ready to start Bidi Bidi Banda, I went back and used all my booking experience and some of my booking contacts and my publicity contacts. And,
we can take a break if you want.
I'm excited.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm excited, and I'm a little under the weather.
Same.
Yeah, I'm just like, everyone's sick right now. Everyone is sick right now. Mm-hmm. But when we started, I just started using all my contacts. I was calling folks. I'm like, hey, I'm doing the Selena tribute. And they're like, come now. Come to Phoenix. Come to wherever. So we've been operating kind of like that and not really saying no to anything. So now I'm not saying that we're going to say no to everything. But, if something is, when does this come out?
So it's gonna come out on Monday the 16th.
Okay,
in the morning.
I have a little bit of a teaser. We'll give at the very end. We're doing a really big show next year.
All right, bet.
A huge show in Dallas next year, and I'll tell you guys about it. If it's coming out on the 16th, we'll announce it on the 18th, and I won't get in trouble. It's fine. It'll be okay.
Or I can hold it till like the 18th after you're done, whichever. It's
okay. I don't feel like you have to do that. We'll figure it out.
All right.
But anyway, we just have been saying yes, and we have gotten to do some really cool stuff. Like we have played the State Fair of Texas twice. We've done, we played the Marfa Ballroom where Selena played in 2016. What else have we done? Sorry.
No, you're good.
I got excited. What else have we done? We've done really incredible stuff. I did a partnership with M&M's last year.
Like, como le digo a mis compas, sácalo.
Get it out. We did a partnership with M&M's last year where I was on like 20,000 M&M's bags at HEBs all over the state.
Wow.
It was incredible. So, I promise I won't do this the whole time.
No, you're good. We're gonna take a quick break.
I was doing fine. I think I started talking too
much. No, it happens to me sometimes too, where I'm talking and there's this one spot that there's something stuck or it gets dry.
Yeah, I'm like, come out already. All right, okay. I think I'm ready.
We're ready. All right, and we're back.
Okay, I needed to collect myself. So yeah, we had just been saying yes to everything, and we've gotten to do such cool stuff and work with great bands. We opened for Morris Day and The Time one time, which is the band that was in the Prince movie Purple Rain. Okay. So we've played amazing shows. We've gotten to open for Taylor Swift. We just played a show alongside Eminem at Formula One the Formula One race. So I've gotten to do almost everything I ever wanted to do with this banda. So it feels like a natural progression. I'm not doing justice to myself, and I'm not doing justice to Selena if I'm not evolving. You know what I mean? Yeah. I give this little fact about her and her life that is it's kind of morbid, but it's so true. And when I realized it kind of knocked the wind out of me. Selena toured her Amor Prohibido album for 1 year. I have been touring that album for 10 years. So it feels like a natural progression is for me to be like, okay, let's do something else.
Yeah.
I don't want to rest on my laurels. I don't want to be the Selena tribute band and that's all that we do, or that's all that I ever do. You know, I love it, and I am beyond. It's changed my life. It really has. But it is time to start looking at other things for sure.
So going into like you growing up, and we're gonna talk about the music part.
Yeah.
But I wanna first growing up in us. So you know, I'm from Mexico City. I grew up about around cumbias and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't like them. I was
like
more of a onda vaselina cava. And then I got older. You know, it was a mix of a lot of things.
Yeah.
That you because I lived in several different places, so I always thought of cumbia. I was like, cumbia.
Yeah.
But then I got older, and you know, I had my first beer, and life changed. But for you growing up listening to Tejano music, you know, as a woman, and then seeing a Tejana, how did that impact you? Like, what was going through your mind, because you saw firsthand representation in national TV, or at least in Texas, and then probably even around the world. Like, she's known in every part, especially in Latin America. So for you seeing someone like her, as you know, and listening to the kind of music as you grew up, how was that for you?
It was eye-opening for sure, and it was really special. I remember listening to a lot of Tejano music, and Selena, of course, was my favorite. But, you know, there were a lot. I remember early on realizing there's a lot of men. There's a lot of men doing this, you know, and other women who would do it. There are incredible women of Tejano music. Shelly Lares is amazing. Stephanie Montiel, Elida Reina, who's retiring this year as well, coming up. And there's a whole new wave of other young women, Latina performers who are doing Tejano music, and they're doing it really well. It just felt like really early on, and I'm guilty of it myself. Like, there was so much male presence in Tejano music. JB Sauceda is doing a podcast right now with Texas Monthly called Viva Tejano. It's very good. He's interviewing a lot of really great performers, but he's doing a great job of incorporating a lot of women performers. But it takes work. You have to kind of work to find what that is and discover what that is. It's a largely male-driven market. Yeah. We have done a lot of work. We've done a lot of shows where we were the only woman on the lineup, and there's 10 bands, you know. In 2020, which was a really life-changing year for all of us, 2020, I decided, I was at my house watching all of these people cross the interstate during the George Floyd protests. I decided that we were going to incorporate in what is now, as an industry term, called an inclusion rider. I was calling it a diversity clause at the time, but now the industry standard is that it's inclusivity rider. Yes, and that means that we, Bidi Bidi Banda, have decided, I, with my band and my project, have decided that we are not going to take shows where we are being used to be the one Latin night that the country club does in a year. Or you need a girl on the lineup, so you're going to book me and feel better about not booking any other women. Yeah. So, and that's not, the intention on that was not to call anyone out. The intention on that was to say, there's a lot of really good talent here, and it's not just men. It's not just white men. We encourage you to book someone book a drag queen, book a woman DJ, book something that looks like the world looks today. Yeah. With us, because that's what we want. That's how we want to leverage our booking power, and it worked out really well, actually. So we've been doing that since 2024. We won't play his show where we're the only woman on the bill. We won't play his show where we're the only people of color on the bill. It was a stretch. It was a big swing to risk with my business and my livelihood. But you know, being from Austin, I don't think I could have had it any other way, honestly. So,
'cause, I mean, Austin is an oasis, and then having that in mind, like, you're not just thinking of the music and the business part, but you're also probably thinking of, hey, like, we don't just want to be the slogan for you to bring other, you know, like inclusivity. Like, no,
booked a girl. Yes, but what else are you doing? That goes back to, you know, growing up in this industry. You know, music is a hard industry to be in, and to your point, Austin is an oasis. There is a lot of welcoming talent here who wants to network with you. And who wants to support you. You just got to find your sector of people. But I really do wish that there was someone doing what I was doing for me 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So, you know, I always tell bands who we play with or bands who we're working with for the first time who we maybe found online that, you know, I'm going to crack the door open for you and you got to kick it down. you know. And I think that is in good faith the best thing we can do for up and coming talent. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. You know, I'm almost 40 years old and working in the industry for 20 years. I always knew I wanted to work in music. I would tell my parents so they wouldn't get mad at me or be worried about me that I wanted to do other things. And when I went to college, I went to UT San Antonio, and I went to school to be a police officer, which did not happen. But I spent more time listening to Tejano music than I did going to class.
Yeah.
Sorry. But anyway, it was an eye-opening experience for me to be able to come back home, come back to Austin, and utilize the Tejano music world that I had, seen in San Antonio, and combine it with the, international booking agency experience that I was gaining here in Austin, and leverage that for something bigger for myself. Mm-hmm. So, it's been a really interesting journey for sure. But in my mind, I've always been one of those ladies who wanted to like play arenas and play stadiums and performing arts centers and things like that. If I told you there was anything else I wanted to do growing up, that would be a lie.
Yeah.
So
that's and I always tell people like you can have the talent and you can do, you can be a very good soccer player or a very good musician. Yeah. But if you don't have the willingness to learn the behind the scenes and all the corporate and bureaucracy that goes when bookings or or even like when you train, like that hard part of training every day, making that your life, you got to immerse, like say, like a sponge, soak everything in.
Oh yeah.
So by the time you started your band, you knew what to do. You knew how to execute things.
Yeah. Oh, I consider myself. One time, my friend told me she's like, "I'm a lifelong learner." I'm like, I want to be a lifelong learner too. When I tell you, I did everything. I was handing out flyers. I was selling T-shirts, checking names at the door. Mm-hmm. Everything you could learn how to do. I was managing bands. I was writing press releases. Anything I could do to learn, I would do. Even now, in the last 2 years of my full-time job, I just started learning how to run a soundboard, which has been great.
Wow.
Excuse me.
No,
I just started working on a soundboard, which is wonderful and good experience to have because I felt like it was something I didn't know that was like holding me back.
Yeah.
So now I know levels and I know how to use monitors and all these things just in the last 2 years. So I never stop learning,
So in case the sound guy, he's having a difficulty, you come in.
I can do it.
Este botón.
No.
This button.
That's not true, sound guys. That's not true. I need help still. But our guitar player is a sound guy, and even just watching him advance stuff for us on our behalf, or we get to a venue and they don't have half the things they said they had for us. Luke, his name is Luke Salas. Luke can determine we can play this gig or we can't play this gig. So in the event, one of us has to go have the very awkward conversation with a sound guy to be like, hey, you need to go get this, and this, or we can't play. It's two things. It's the stress of having to tell a sound guy, we need this, and this, or the relief of being like, you don't have everything that we need, but we're going to make it work because we're professionals, So it is absolutely, music is absolutely, when you get to a certain point and when you start taking it seriously, it's a business. Mm-hmm. And I talk to so many musicians in my personal life and my professional life who are like, I don't want to sell out. I don't want to do X, Y, and Z. You're not doing that. What you're doing is you're gaining professional business experience so that when you reach the level that you want to reach and you've, hit that gold standard for yourself, whatever that is, you can call the shots and you can say that you've done it all, So important.
So it's I would say I probably help set up sounds. I'm not an expert, but I can connect the cable.
This is pretty good. This is a pretty good setup.
Thank you. But one thing that I got to see in the music part was whenever you think of a band, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes there's a I think you're saying it's a saying or it's kind of like a thinking where when you meet your idols, sometimes you feel like heartbroken because they don't really pay attention to you when you're shouting out to them. But in reality, like they're there to work. And there's bands where you come in and you plug everything, you talk to their people, and it's just different because the fun comes when they start playing. Yeah. But the behind everything, like behind the scenes and the setup and the sound check and all that, that's a lot of work. I mean, that's a lot
For
of
sure.
things to think of, make sure everything works perfectly so they can give the audience a good experience.
Yeah, and you do whatever you do. For me, excuse me, for me at least, whatever I do, I know. Oh my God,
No, you're good.
it's coming out.
Hey, I have some tequila if you want some tequila.
That'll make it worse. That'll make it worse. I think I got it. Okay, I think I got it. No matter what I do, whenever I'm playing a show, what I don't want is for someone to drive 50 miles and pay $100 for a ticket and watch me have a bad day. You know?
Yeah.
Even right now, this is not the same thing, but my son was not feeling his best this morning, and I knew I wanted to come here and do this, and I'm going to, we're having a great conversation. But in the back of my mind, if my son is not okay, I'm not okay, typically. Yeah. But what I don't want to do is disappoint someone who's going to, because I know how hard I work for my money. So I don't want someone to come to one of my shows and be like, Stephanie, they barely did anything. She played the shows or she played the songs and she left. I make it a point to encourage the guys to do the same thing. And everyone's not having the best day every day, but I always encourage the guys to come and say hello, be nice. And the guys are typical guys, they want to talk to girls.
Yeah.
So that's not too hard of a sell for them. But, it's not like as a person in my late 30s now, it's not like when I started in my late 20s where I can just bounce back first thing in the morning, especially if we're playing 5, 6, 7 shows in a row. Mm-hmm. I have to sleep. If I want to look pretty and sound good the next day, I need to sleep. I need to rest. And that's something you can only learn as you go. Yeah. So very rarely, it does absolutely happen, but very rarely will we get on the road and play a show with the band and they're not cool. For the sake of not being cool. I know at this point, I've played music long enough to know when a musician's not having a good day.
Yeah.
Or when I get them at a bad moment or something like that. We've seen the best of it and the worst of it. I remember September of this year, and I'll leave it ominous, but September of this year, I had the absolute best and the absolute worst interaction with a headlining performer I've ever had. I'll tell you the best one, and then the rest, you can go look at the tour dates to see who the worst one was. The best. And
I like when there's a T involved. So
yeah, T and research.
T and research.
I'll give you the best one. The best interaction ever, and it took 10 years, but the best interaction I
Otra,
had.
por favor. No.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. We opened for Charlie Crockett in Hidalgo this year at his hometown, and he came and said, or I was walking into catering, and he was walking out to play his show, mm-hmm. and he stopped and said hello to me. And then afterward, he talked to me for 20 minutes and was signing autographs and talking to me about my son and my dad, and my boyfriend recorded most of it, which was so awkward, but I'm glad that he did because I don't remember a lot of it. Mm-hmm. But it was so validating for all of these years to do all this work. And we had no idea how we got the gig. I had no idea. Usually someone will put a good word for us. We had no idea how we got the gig, but I asked him, I was like, how did we get this gig? He's like, I asked for you. I'm like, what? How did you even know who we were? But he lives in Austin, and he does work. I'm on the board of directors for Health Alliance for Austin musicians. Okay. And he's done some work with us before. So
that's Ham, right?
Ham, yes. So I'm not really sure how he found out about us, but he does live here in Austin, so maybe he saw something on Instagram or something. But it was very validating, very surprising, and so, so cool, mm-hmm. because he's a huge deal, So it was great.
That's cool. That's a pretty cool thing. The fact that he looked for you so he can
he asked his agents to ask for us, and I'm like, this is crazy. What planet are we on?
I'm glad this that I mean, and I think when you look at it after all the the hard work and all the experiences, when you have something like that, it motivates you to do more.
Absolutely. I was and it was one of those things where in passing he's like, let's do more stuff together. I'm like, for sure, but then also don't want to be that person who's remember when you said you wanted to do more stuff with us? So it's just one of those things where waiting for the right opportunity, or maybe we'll cross paths again at some point, but I'm appreciative of the gig. He was as nice as he could be to us. When we got to our dressing room in the Pain Arena, every piece of our catering or our rider, so whenever you play a show, you send over your technical rider, which is the list of all the things you need on stage, mm-hmm. and then your backstage rider for all the things you want backstage. He and his team fulfilled every single thing we asked for. They were so nice to us.
I think he probably, I don't know, I'm thinking when you have that level of experience, so you want to make it as easy as possible and comfortable as possible for the people that are gonna work in that show, because at the end of the day, the consumer is the one that dictates whether a thing gets filled or not. But then seeing a musician have a good day, it's easier to yes, I'm enjoying this moment, but they also can understand when someone's having a bad day and we're like, hey, it's life.
For sure, you can tell when someone was having a bad day, but you can also tell when someone is just not wanting to engage and wanting you to have a bad day or wanting to have some influence on your day. So they're going to be shitty. Sorry, can I say no?
Yeah, it can
okay, you can tell when someone's going to be being shitty to you because they want to impact your day negatively. Yeah. And that's not cool. Why would you do that? Like, we're all doing the same job, So
I mean, that's and that's probably, I'm thinking that's probably a downfall of the industry, is when, you have people that they just, because they're having a bad day, they want everyone to have a bad day.
Mm-hmm. We played a show, more tea. We played a show at the ABGB, and it was us and another notable Austin musician. And they told, I had asked in advance, I was like, where's so-and-so? I want to say hi to him. And they're like, he doesn't say hi to openers. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But I am from Austin, and he is from Austin, and I'm not an opener. We're actually co-headlining this show. So, like, I went, as soon as he got there, I went and sought him out and, like, shook his hand, and he did not want to talk to me. But I made him say hi to me. Yeah. Because you have to for me, I needed to level the playing field. I needed to know for myself that I wasn't going to be afraid of a musician who was going to be a jerk. Yeah. That's dumb. Especially a musician who's from Austin, who's playing on the same instrument or the same gear and sound system that I'm playing on. That seems dumb.
So
the tea.
No. So one question, like, say when it comes to, like, say in a band, there's different, like the openers and the headliners. Is there an interaction between bands during the day, or is it just a setup and vámonos?
There is for us. Like, we, anytime we've headlined a show where, like, we've been fortunate enough to play shows where we get to pick our performers if we're headlining. We always, like, if there's one dressing room, it doesn't feel good to be sitting in a dressing room with all this catering and all these things and all these drinks, and then the openers are sitting in their cars. Yeah. That makes me feel bad. When we've been on the road with bigger talent, everybody's been pretty cool. Like, there's been maybe, I would say I can count on less than one hand the number of times where it was not cool. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's just, I'm fortunate to be from Austin. And when we tell people we're musicians from Austin, that is taken so seriously. It is taken, It's very, like, there's a certain pedigree of professionalism and just, like, being a good-ass musician if you're from Austin that you have to meet, especially if you're on the road. So I think that we've been treated really fairly, and I've worked really hard to make sure that my guys have everything that they need. So it's been a handful of not good experiences. Whenever we get a chance to headline a show, we always want to make sure that the band feels like they're part of our, we're doing this together. We're all going out there to do the same job together. Mm-hmm. So I feel like when I get to a place where I'm going to get to do this for myself, I want to carry that same mentality. Like, we're all doing the same thing. Yeah. And for every person on stage, there's 10 people working to get them on stage behind the scenes. And those people are just as important. And it's just as important that they have a good experience as the people who are on stage.
You have the light guy, the sound guy.
The sound guy, from an Austin industry standpoint, there's a company called Event Techs. Be kind to your event techs because they're doing the heavy lifting and the pushing and the staying late and arriving early, and be nice to everybody, even the runner, the intern. Do you never forget, because those people who are interning are going to turn into your music executives in 20 years.
That's so I got to I've done some volunteering, like in games, right? And I've gotten to where we're volunteering, and there's this one younger person that comes, and I'm a little older, and then this person, after a couple of years, she's working for the biggest federation in soccer. Mm-hmm. Well, not in soccer, in our region. Yeah. That's like, it's one of those where you always have to be mindful of, just being nice to everyone, being a good person. Right, because
those people are going to remember the way that you made them
feel. Yes. And they're, like, seeing that, and that's so, I like, looking at it in that perspective is thinking, like you're thinking of, you want everybody to feel good and you know, like say they have everything they need. Like, is this something that you grew up on whenever you know, with your family? Or is there something like that? And maybe that helped you, and that was easier for you to, hey, I'm going to bring whatever I had from my family here? Or how was that?
So I grew up in a very blue-collar family, you know. Okay. My mom is a principal secretary at a high school in East Austin, at Del Valley High School, actually. And my dad is a cross-country truck driver. He drives an 18-wheeler.
Shout out to 18-wheelers because they're kicking ass during the holiday season.
Yes. Shout out to my dad. My dad does, like, long-distance driving for, like, John Deere tractors and stuff. Okay. He works really, really hard, and he calls himself, or no, he's in what they call the 5 million mile club, so he's driven 5 million miles in his life.
Wow.
Which is apparently a really high designation. But anyway, my parents were super, we grew up very humble, not a lot of money. And something about, for me at least, something about being able to kind of break this threshold of like becoming upper middle class makes me feel like I want to take care of everybody around me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, because I know what it feels like to not be taken care of. Not that my family wasn't taking care of me, but I know what it feels like to not have all the ends be met, or the loose ends tied up. So something about that makes me definitely want to have everyone who works with me and for me feel like they're taken care of. So yes, we do go above and beyond. I don't put the guys in a Motel 6. We stay at like a nicer hotel.
In the Hotel Van Sant.
Yeah, they're not staying at Hotel Van Sant. No. We're not doing that. Unless like one time we stayed in Marfa and we stayed at this Hotel St. George, which is really nice.
Yes.
But it was the end of our tour.
Okay.
It was the last show, and I got the guys all their own room and like just let them sleep in. And I want them to feel taken care of. And you know, there have been years, especially these last 4 years, where I spent more time with my band than I have with my family. Mm-hmm. I spend holidays. I spend Mother's Day with these guys. And this is my life. You know what I mean? So it would feel silly for me to not invest in my own comfort on the road. So I think something about just growing up in a very humble place and growing up with not a lot makes me feel like I want to provide a lot for the people around me. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Does that answer your question?
That perfectly answered my question. No, that's good, because how you did that for your guys, right? St. George Hotel. I've been there to eat. I have so very good Brussels sprouts, but we didn't stay because we stayed at the Cosmico. But I mean, like, giving them their own room and then sleeping in, that shows you as the leader of the band is like, hey, we're taken care of. You know, next tour, we'll be okay.
Right. Well, and you know, when we started the first tour we ever went on, this is humble beginnings. The first tour the band ever went on, I took 8 people, including myself, in one van from Austin to Phoenix, and we had 7 shows. And I was shoestrings. We were like playing for bare minimum. Mm-hmm. I promised the guys I would pay them a certain amount of money, but in order to do that, I had to take some very serious financial risks. Yeah. I had those guys, God bless them, I had those guys sleeping in 2 double hotel rooms. So 2 people to a little queen bed for 10 days straight. And they did it with me. And, you know, these guys, my touring band now is Luke Salas on guitar, Rocky Reyna on bass, Miguel Aguilar on drums, Kobe Ramirez on percussion, and Luis Sanchez on keyboards. And then I sing lead vocals. And Mike also sings, and Rocky and Luke are also on vocals. So everyone kind of sings in the band. Mm-hmm. But these guys, I spend more time with them than I do with my family sometimes. And some of them have just, Rocky, my bass player, who's also my son's godfather, also one of my best friends.
El Padrino.
Yes. He also has a new song out called I Won't Miss the Pain. Music video is out right now. Go see that. He's been with me from day one. He was the first call I made, and he's the person who keeps showing up for me. So I feel an obligation to take care of them. I know all the guys in the band. I know their moms. I know their girlfriends. I know their kids. I know their lives. I know what kind of beer they like. I know what they don't like. So they have worked. We all worked really, really hard to get to this place where we are a respected professional band. Mm-hmm. And I acknowledged when there are sacrifices that are being made to be out there with me. So it's just, it's one of those things where you have to kind of keep coming back to like, what can I do? Not so that they will like me, but what can I do so that they know that I care about them from more than just he's playing guitar tonight standpoint.
And like you feel the camaraderie. I hope I'm saying that word right. Camaraderie. With your band, and then you're spending all this time with them.
Yes.
Whenever there's friction, how do you guys resolve it? Or is it like, perfect?
Oh, no, it's not perfect
You
all
slap
the time. No. Sometimes somebody...
You're good.
Tried. Sometimes somebody has to take a walk. Sometimes somebody in the band has to go take a walk. Sometimes somebody has to go sit at the bar for a couple of hours. Sometimes someone has to sit at the back of the bus. They were driving and now they got to sit at the back of the bus because they're just not talking to any of us. Sometimes someone has to wear their headphones all day from, El Paso to Phoenix, and we don't hear from them. We don't see them. They're just on their phone. They're on their phone. Like, it's not easy every single time.
Yeah.
No. We try to resolve it. I have never... We got 2 shows left. I have never...
The 20-second before you guys go in there,
Right.
there's like
Don't do this. Hey,
the
y'all
bass
watching
player with the keyboardist. We're going to settle some scores.
That would, if you saw them, that would be such a funny fight. But the knock on wood, I have never had to step in and be like, hey, stop fighting.
Okay.
If there's a fight or if there's something going on, I typically don't know about it. The guys, and I think it's healthy for the guys to have experiences and time and things that they do on the road without me. So early on, I was like hanging out till 3:00 in the morning, doing everything they were doing. I was like out there drinking whiskey, being crazy and just like messy and silly, like doing everything. But now I'm like, you guys got this. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
So the one expense I started sharing with myself was when I was pregnant. I decided that I was going to sleep in my own hotel room because I was just bunking with the guys. Like I would just like sleep on a couch or something early on. And now I'm like, I need my own room.
Yeah.
You guys pair up. I need my own space. I'm the only girl. I'm the boss. I need my own room. So now after the show, the guys will go do whatever. As long as we're paid and everybody's all taken care of, I'm just like, I'm going to go to the room. I'll see you guys later. Mm-hmm. And because I need that. I'm getting older. I want to talk to my son in the morning. I want to have my coffee. I want to do my thing where I feel good in the morning. And then if I feel good first thing in the morning, I'm going to play a great show. I know I am.
Yeah.
So, but like all bands, there's friction. There's things that have happened. And, when we started playing, I had 9 players, one of whom is still in the band, and lots of amazing folks who've come and gone. I think you guys have had, have you had Como Las Movies on?
Yes.
Yes. So Nelson Aguilar played keyboards for us for a little bit.
Okay.
My friend Rene Chavez is the original guitar player. He works for KUT now, but he's an incredible musician. Mm-hmm. He's the original guitar player for Bidi Bidi Banda. Vanessa Burden, who's in Los Alcos, she was singing backing vocals. We've had incredible players play in the banda. But everything has its own season. Sometimes people are just like, I'm taking a break. I'm not playing music anymore. Or I want to go play with this band full time. Even our keyboard player, like he's dividing time between us and a very big band right now that's touring all the time. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to the beauty and the misery of being the band leader is that you have to know that everything has a season.
Yeah.
Like the constant on stage for 10 years has been me and our bass player, but like he's, even if he can't play a show, we still got to play it. So the constant thing you'll see in Bidi Bidi Banda is that I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
And the beauty of that is that we can bring in different musicians. And, my band who's playing with me now, they're so special and so wonderful. And they all have their own unique story of how they kind of started playing with us. And then there's the misery of being like, man, you're so good. I wish you would still play with us, but you got to do other things.
De repente le habla Peso Pluma y mira un bajo sexto.
You need more money, or you need more time, or you are, quitting playing music to raise your child, or, your mom is sick or something like that.
Yeah.
You really want to, you're not going to make more money with this other band, but you want to travel more. And we don't travel as much as we want to, or we used to, or whatever. So it ebbs and flows. It really does kind of come and go. But I feel very fortunate. I think there's something like 40 musicians who've come and gone and played with Bidi Bidi Banda. And I don't think there's anybody in the band who I've burned a major bridge with and they don't speak to me anymore. Everybody still speaks to me.
Yeah, that's good. They didn't have him blocked you from social media yet.
I don't think I'm blocked from anybody on social media who's played.
That's good. That's good.
No, one, but
one.
He deserved. I blocked him. He deserved it.
Alfredo, what the heck, man? No. Come on, just playing.
No,
Nelson.
No, not Nelson. I love Nelson. On December of last year, Nelson and Como Las Movies and Sabrina Ellis invited me to play an event with them at ACL Live at the Moody Theater. They invited me to play Como La Flood with them, which was really special. They'd won an award and asked me to come and be a special guest. And it was one of the highlights of my year. It was such a treat. I love Nelson.
He's a good guy. He's
the best guy.
The first time I met him was like 2016, I think. And then I'm over here just asking him random questions, and he's just answering them. Yeah. And I don't know, he probably got bored of me, but I kept on asking him questions. He's the best. And then I'm like, I'm having a podcast watch, and I'm gonna invite you.
Oh,
and he let me use the intro song for Otra, por favor. And then we had him in the 100th episode. But we're gonna, hopefully record with him in the future.
How many episodes has the podcast done?
This one's gonna be 142.
Wow! So, congratulations.
Thank you. But enough about me. More about you. Seeing like you've seen people come and go, and then now you're the one that created Bidi Bidi Banda, or okay?
Yeah, so I started it 10 years ago. I was playing music in other bands. I was doing original songs with my friend Renee, my friend Ricardo. Like we were playing in a band called, what was the band called? Ricky's Wela. Have you ever seen La Bamba?
Richie Valens from La Bamba.
Yeah.
Well, they actually call me Richie because of him. My mom's like, I used to look like him, but I don't know how. But that's another story.
I can kind of see it, yeah. Well, we were playing in a band called Ricky's Wela for a little bit. It was just a trio, and we would play little shows here and there. But it was really like I needed an outlet to be able to feel validated in being able to play in front of a lot of people. And I was like, what can I do to make an impression on a lot of folks? I'm like, I'm going to sing a Selena song. You know what's better than one Selena song? 20 Selena songs. So now I think our catalog is close to 30. So it just kind of went from there, and we got asked to play this one show, and I put together a band of all the people, all the instruments I thought I needed, which ended up being 10 players. We get into the rehearsal space. We went to record at Space in South Austin, and we get in there, and the first song we tried to learn was El Chico del Apartamento 512. We went through it one time, and it was like everyone in the band collectively looked at each other like, shit, we don't know what we're doing. Because it's one thing to hear the songs and another thing to play them. Yeah. And for Chico, that song has 3 key changes in it, and we didn't realize it until we're trying to play it. Have you ever seen that movie, The Nightmare Before Christmas?
No.
No? Okay, there's a movie called The Nightmare Before Christmas for the audience. We probably sounded like that band from that little town, like a little band of ghosts. We sounded not great. And I think my friends who were playing with me at that time would agree. Like, it was just one of those things where we're all looking at each other going, it's bad. It's bad. I don't think we should do this. So lots of trials and tribulations. And, I just kind of kept the faith. I just kept the faith in my band, kept the faith in myself. And, I always say whenever we're having a hard time or like someone can't play or someone doesn't feel good, or I'm like, we're already on the way. We already said we're going to be there. What are we going to do? And I think I've only had to cancel one show. And it was because we had 2 players who just were not there. We just, no call, no show. So that was the only time we'd ever canceled a performance. I try really, really hard, even when I'm sick, even when I'm just not feeling it. Like, we got to make it happen. Yeah. Because people are expecting it,
That's, so having, putting the band together, going through the process where, man, we don't sound the best.
I've never talked about this before. This is interesting.
Nice. Thank you. Only an Otra, por favor. And now you didn't give up because you're like, hey, you had in mind what do you wanted to do with the band. Like, it's not something like, okay, we don't sound good. That's it. We're gonna quit. Like,
yeah.
You continue to go at it. And now after, when did you say, okay, we clicked and this song sounds good now?
The first time we were playing shows. We were already playing shows. We'd been playing for about a year. I think we'd done maybe 10 shows. And we needed, this is gonna inflate he's gonna get an ego this big once I tell the story. We were playing shows, and we had I had called in a substitute keyboard player. The Selena music, it is so vital to get the keyboards right. If you're not doing keyboards right, everything else is really, really hard. So I called in this substitute keyboard player named Luis Sanchez. Actually, the keyboard player who was playing with us at the time was like, I know this guy, Luis. He knows all the songs. I'm like, sure. Everybody knows all the songs. Okay.
Yeah.
We get to rehearsal, and Luis starts playing, and the rest is history. So we didn't really become Bidi Bidi Banda until, like, the version that we are now, till 2015.
Okay.
Until Luis started playing with us. And, like, a musician of high caliber, the way that Luis plays and the way that he's like, hey, you know, home, you practice at home and you rehearse at rehearsal. You don't learn the songs at rehearsal. Mm-hmm. He's very thorough, very like direct, and very just like, I learned it, or I don't know that. Let's not do this. And the way he communicates to me, knowing that I came in as kind of a novice musician, changed everything. There were people in the band who have come into the band, a lot of them playing with us now, who changed everything. Rocky playing bass, like when we first started, I was so terrified to talk to the audience outside of singing the songs. I didn't know what to say. Yeah. And I don't speak Spanish, so I didn't know what to do. And then Rocky, I was like, can you give him a microphone? Or like, Rocky's, if you come to a show, Rocky's standing right here next to me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, can you give him a microphone? The second that Rocky started becoming my hype man, everything changed. I felt confident because this person, he still to this day is one of my best friends. Mm-hmm. And nobody knows what I want to say on stage the way that Rocky knows what I want to say. So that changed part of the band. And then Luke, who was my guitar player, he actually came in the week that I found out I was having a baby. And he came in as a substitute, and we played 2 sold-out shows at House of Blues in Dallas and Houston. And he went up there and did the Bidi Bidi guitar solo, which is very hard to do, flawlessly. It was perfect. Mm-hmm. And that changed the band. And he looks like Chris Bettis. He's got long, curly hair. Yeah. So, you know, the energy between Luke and Rocky in the front and Luis just technically getting everything right, I would say about 2017, we were really firing on all cylinders. Mm-hmm. In 2021, our drummer, Mike, came in and just kind of knew how to do everything. He knew how to play. He was a great timekeeper. Everyone could kind of look at him, and Mike would be like, okay, it's time to do this. So even to this day, if you come to one of our shows, mm-hmm. I look back at Mike, and he'll cue me, and he'll be like, that changed the band. And then when Mike started singing, oh my gosh, I could get like a minute to change a costume. Yeah. Or go get beers for the guys, or just like if I was, having a bad day or a bad back or whatever, I can go and sit back and just like fix myself. I'm a very sweaty lady. I sweat a lot on stage. So if I can just go and wipe down for a minute to get a breather like that from Mike and have them all on microphones talking to each other, that is the bread and butter of a really good Bidi Bidi Banda show. Because we usually play 1 of 3 songs or something special whenever the guys do there's a point in the middle of the show where I come off stage. And Mike he usually does Juana la Cubana, or he'll do Bebe Dame by Grupo Frontera. Mm-hmm. He'll do Friends in Low Places, just something that will really get the crowd going. Yeah. That changed everything about, the way that we present ourselves, because we're a band and we're a really good band. But when the 5 of them plus our percussion player, Kobe, came in, it's just like this is the primary touring band for the last 4 years. Like we were good before, we are great now.
So you didn't know, or you didn't the interaction between songs, is that something like, oh man, it was hard for you to do?
I didn't know what to say. I was like, hey y'all, I was talking my one of my friends would say, like, he's like, you're just talking to people like you're at their house. I'm like, I don't know what else to do. I don't know how else to talk to people. So learning that piece of it, like stage, we all know I'm transitioning into kind of a solo career, a solo effort where I'm doing more writing. What I lack in just like an established amount of songs right now, I make up for in years and years of being on stage. Now, 10 years later, I can manage any crowd. Nobody makes me nervous. Nobody makes me upset. I do lots of people watching. Obviously our main concern is to make sure people are having fun and that they're doing it safely. But I don't get intimidated by a crowd anymore.
You gotta say, you look at a crowd, if they're like quiet, this is, you know what? Here's the 2 minutes of stand up I've been working on.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Let's get this going.
So my boyfriend, my boyfriend now, we were listening to, and I want to talk about the recording. That you had some questions about the recording. I'm so glad you had those questions. But my boyfriend now was listening to some audio from a show that we did in 2022, and I hadn't listened to the audio because he's a videographer and he does a media company, so he helps me with a lot of creative stuff. But we were listening to the show, and he, like, at one point I went up to use the restroom or like went to go get my computer or something, and I come back and he's laughing so hard that he's crying. I'm like, why are you laughing? And he's like, you're doing a stand-up comedy show. He's like, this is the Stephanie show, and the music just happens to be Selena. He's like, this is very funny. So I think once I got comfortable once I got into the zone of like, okay, they're gonna stay because they want to see the Selena songs. I felt more comfortable to be more of myself. So it is. I mean, I know you're like here's 2 minutes, but no, it's literally like I'm just trying to be funny up there and trying to make people laugh and have a good time.
And I think like so a lot of people pay for a show, right? And then they're probably having a bad day, and they're like, man, I probably wasn't gonna come because life sucks. Mm-hmm. But then they come, they listen to good music, and they listen to the singer, go at it with her set. That's like,
it's a good night.
Good night. Like, and part of, at the end of the day, like, entertainment means good times.
Yeah, we want people to go and have a good time. I want to, I want people to enjoy the music and close their eyes and feel like they're at a Selena concert, not because of my voice, but just because of the music. It's so good. The guys play the music so well. But also, like, I want people to walk away not feeling like I was a jerk or that I was like, just like being obnoxious or like acting like I am Selena. I am not Selena. We are given the good fortune to be able to replay this music for her fans. And, we make no mistake about the fact that these are Selena's fans.
Yeah.
And I just want it to be funny. I just want people to have a good time. And I will be happy to make a joke at my own expense on stage. And, I never kind of carry myself in a way where it's like, hi and bye. I don't do that.
Yeah. So. There's this one band that I like, and I've seen them a couple of times live. And they're literally, all they do is between songs, they throw the guitar picks at each other. They're just...
Are they from Austin?
No, they're called Molotov.
I love Molotov.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Man.
Have you seen them play? Like, they go and sit in other people's... Like, the drummer will play bass. And I love my favorite part. Yeah. I love Molotov.
And they're like, Mikey.
Yeah.
Te toca la guitarra.
My favorite thing about Molotov is that their guitar player is a white man. He is the guitar?
Yeah.
Randy. He's
the drummer. And then
yes, you're right. He's the drummer. Yes, I always forget. He plays guitar in another band that is his own band. But he's so good and he's so funny. And if you watch interviews with him, he speaks Spanish better than my dad.
Yeah.
Like it's so interesting to me.
There's and the thing is, I think a lot of people, whether they knew Spanish or didn't know Spanish, they related themselves to them because they're just funny. Like whenever in their songs, they throw out this cheesy words in the songs.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is just like say the hooks when they do, and some of them are like, I'm not gonna say it here, but they're pretty funny. Like you go in there, watch it, enjoy it, and man, you come out like a different person.
Yeah, and the music videos are so good. I really like Molotov. Have you seen the documentary that they do? It's called "Give Me the Power," I think.
Not yet.
It's really good. You should see it. It's a documentary about like Molotov and their impact on Mexico and Mexico's impact on the world. It's really, really cool. I highly recommend it. So
is it in Spanish or English?
It's in Spanish.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to check it out.
Subtitles.
I have to check it out. But, I mean, like doing that as a musician, and then one is having people laugh. I feel like if I go to a show and, I mean, they're at the end of the day for a band is to play good music, mm-hmm. but if they can crack a joke here and there, man, that makes... Or it don't have to be a joke, but it can just be like something people relate to.
Right. It humanizes musicians, and I feel like that, to get, from a 30,000 foot standpoint, it is so important as a musician now to be, if you're going to be marketable, it is so important to humanize yourself.
Yeah.
And for people to feel like, I don't think everyone needs to know every single thing about a person, but, I am a strong believer of like the best parts of my life don't belong on the internet. That's just for me.
Yeah.
But to have a peek inside what life is like for a musician, like sometimes I'll do little Instagram takeovers where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go take my vitamins now. Like, we got to go do this. You know what I mean? Like a day in the life. People really like to see musicians be humanized in that way. And I mean, some people like that. I personally like it.
So and like say a funny one that I've seen and actually experienced, because I also do photography. Uh-huh. And well, for the podcast, but get to cover shows. But I was doing the actually about a year ago when Black Pumas was at the ACL Live.
Oh, I love Black Pumas.
And Eric Burton, mm-hmm. he usually jumps the rail and sings with the crowd. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm turning around trying to get a picture of a guitar player, and then I just hear like that
Oh no.
Eric had jumped over the barricade. He fell down, and I kept turning around, and then you see him like get up, and I'm like, I'm not gonna take a picture of that.
Oh my god!
But he took it like a champ. Like he started singing the song, and he held one of the people that were there, their hand in the song. So I have a picture of that. But I'm pretty sure he's hurting in that. But he's being a professional. He's taking it like a champion.
One time, not even a long time ago, like 4 months ago maybe, we had a show in San Antonio, and I fell through the stage. I fell through a hole in the stage at a bingo hall.
Oh.
I was so embarrassed.
Was it not sealed in correctly?
The show was at a bingo hall that they were trying to sell as like an event center.
Okay.
So they had the they had the bingo hall table, the stage, and they have to the little chingadera machine to like run the numbers or whatever.
Yeah.
But you have to plug it in. So they were plugging it in the middle of the stage, and they had cut a hole so you could put power into it. And I stepped on the hole, and granted, there was a little X like a small X like this big.
Yeah.
But I stepped on the platform and fell right through the stage.
Tracas.
And back onto the drums. And my my bass, Rocky and Luis and Luke, like we're all just like went to go help me. And Mike is just sitting there. I'm like, are your drums okay? He's like, oh yeah, are you okay? I'm like, get the hell out of here, man. I was okay. Like,
were you good? Did you sue them and make money?
I should have. I would own that bingo hall now.
Nah, right.
It'd have been the Bidi Bidi Bingo Hall.
Hey, it was Bidi Bidi Bingo Hall. No, Bidi Bidi Bingo Hall.
Almost.
So going to the you guys did a pretty much a session. It was a 3 song session.
Songs.
3 songs. Each song, what was, the logistics of it, and also how many takes did you guys take in each song? Because I'm pretty sure. So me and my friend, we do sometimes stuff for fun, and we did it, and it took literally for a 1 minute clip. It took us 4 hours because we were getting different clips from different, ideas and whatnot. But for you guys, how was that particular moment?
I can tell you this, the whole story. I can tell you. Okay, so for years, we decided I was like, we're not going to record the songs. We're not going to do that. That's not going to be part of what we do. We're not recording them. We're not doing this. So I will give all credit where credit is due. My boyfriend, who was not my boyfriend at the time, he's not my boyfriend, but he was like.
So he can be boyfriend.
Well,
that was part of the deal to record.
In order for me to get the videos, I had to become his girlfriend. I was like, the deal. No, sorry, babe. No, but he was actually like my friend in high school. We've been friends since we were 12 years old, but our lives had kind of gone different ways, like, just whatever. And in this year, January of this year, we reconnected. And we reconnected because it was our class reunion, our 20-year class reunion in high school. So he actually was the person who gave me the idea he's like, I just never believed that I could do it. I never believed that I could make it happen. And he was the one who was like, you could do this. Let me help you do this. So like, I kept kind of avoiding him. I kept avoiding the idea of doing it until he put a site tour of a place that he wanted me to look at for the videos on my calendar, like on my Gmail calendar. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to say I can't go to this later. I kept pushing it up.
The man has a plan.
I mean.
Oh, he had a plan.
Yes, I think he did. I really do. But, he kept telling me, telling me about it and reminding me. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to bail on this. But okay, so the day comes and he's like, I'm on the way. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm also on the way. And I just like got in my car and met him. And he showed me this beautiful space in South Travis County called Trailer Park. Shout out to Jess and Dan who own Trailer Park. It's beautiful. If you have not seen it, go to Trailer Park, no E, Trailer Park. Go see their space. They have a ton of video shoot spaces. And he showed this to me. And as soon as I saw it in real life and I saw the costs and I saw how affordable, not even affordable, I saw how much it was actually going to cost me. I'm like, let's just do it. So we booked the space for 4 hours. Mm-hmm. And that includes everything, like that includes tear down, setup, whatever. So we really, after teardown and setup, we really only had about 2 hours to record these 3 pieces. We did all the songs in one day. And it was just like, literally, I would go and record, or we would record a take, and then Jose, my boyfriend, Jose Nahar, he would be like, okay, let's do the next song. So I'd go change my clothes and do the next song. So we did 4 takes of each song. and I would change my clothes, and then we do 4 takes of the next song, 4 takes of the next one. So we'd also won the Austin Music Award for Best Latino Band this year.
Nice.
And the award show, thank you. And the award show was that night. So we decided, he had a plan, but I also had a plan. We had decided that we were going to invite everybody on the crew who was recording the video for us to be our dates for the award show. So I got to invite him to the Music Awards. Jose did all the video for it. He did a one-man shoot. He just, and then our manager Pamela was watching on a screen, kind of like this, the real-time progress of it. And when we started, he was just recording like single camera like this, just one camera, and he wasn't moving. He was just kind of standing next to his camera. And Pam, our manager, kind of comes up to me at the halfway point. She's like, "Is this all he's gonna do?" I'm like, "I don't know." So then we do the first 2 takes of the one song, and then he gets his camera and starts moving around, and like it looks like it's so beautiful. He did such a beautiful job. It was recorded by our friend Luis Calderon, who worked at Nomad Sound. He did all the recording for us. So we did everything. To answer your question, we did everything in one day. Our friend Renee Chavez mastered it for us, and the goal was to have it done by April 16th, which was Selena's birthday. And the rest is kind of history. It came out so beautifully. Jose did a really beautiful job of making sure that I felt comfortable and making sure that I had the colors I wanted. And it's really a time capsule of just this beautiful moment in my life that I get to show my son and my family. And it was just a really beautiful day. And we did it all frankly speaking, we did all the shooting in 2 hours. So that's cool. And thinking like, say the first take, and you said he was just like one camera, and then second take, that's something that he kind of like, he had to have mind what to do. Like, he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I had to just trust his process, And Pam, same thing. Like during the last take of the last song, I think the last song we recorded was Bidi Bidi Banda. Pam looks up from the screen. She's like, "I see it. I see the vision now. I get it." I'm like, "Okay, perfect." But he really pushed me to do it. Like,
and she was like, "Say yes."
Literally at the award show, he's like, "He's got googly eyes for you." I'm like, "So sorry, babe." But yeah, it's just he really did, and push is a relative term. He encouraged me.
Yeah.
He gave me the positive reinforcement that I needed to do this, and I would not, if it were not for him staying on me about it, I would not have done it. So huge props go out to him. He now covers, he became my boyfriend, a little bit after that. But huge props go to him. He is at our shows covering, he does a lot of our content now, and comes in and spares no expense and spares no time on making me and us look great. So I really,
that's
he's
cool.
a good one. He's a good one.
Cool. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that I noticed is when you're doing a video, you want to have a presentation using pink, and I see a lot of stuff. Your stuff has pink.
Yeah, pinks and purples.
It basically is like, hey, this is us in a video.
Right. This. So there's a piece of it that I didn't really touch yet, which is that when you come to a Bidi Bidi Banda show, you're not going to see a visual copy of me in a purple jumpsuit or really anything that Selena would wear, because it's just not part of something that we feel like we need to do anymore. Early on, I was hand sewing costumes to look like her. It just got to be so overwhelming that I wasn't caring about the music anymore. Yeah. And that's such an important part of it. So now Jose understands, and our band manager Pamela understand, and the guys understand, we're not going to be your Selena Bustier lookalike moment. And I feel like being musicians from Austin, we had to take ourselves more seriously than that. And that's not a knock on other Selena tributes who do that. That's just not what we do. But yes, our kind of looks, when he presented the video to me, there were so many pieces of it that had this 90s feel. There's in the middle of the guitar solo for Bidi Bidi Bam Bam, the screen switches over to a black and white, almost like Beverly Hills 90210 opening credits. It just looks so beautiful. And in watching him do other videos now, I can kind of see where his mind goes and what story he wants to tell. And I gave him as much input as I could, but he really kind of led the artistic process and what that needed to look like. And I love that all the guys got their own little feature, and that everyone looks good, and that there's a point in No Me Queda Más where Luke and Rocky are swaying together. It's really beautifully done. And it had to happen at that time with that crew with my boyfriend like at the helm of that. He was so good, and just like I had not worked with him, much less really seen him in almost 20 years. So to have a person kind of know me very intimately in that way, capture me on film in the way that I've been doing my job for the last 10 years is very cool.
Yeah, and this is like saying 3 songs, but it's just the whole everything about it, because videos, a lot of it is storytelling, so just putting that, like, I'm pretty sure it was an accomplishment that you were like, I've never knew I wanted it, but here it is.
I never in my like in with this project, I never in my wildest dreams thought that I'd have a music video.
Yeah.
And now I have 3, and they're beautiful, and like they look expensive, and they look like thought was put into them, and there's a storyline, and I like our manager put a fan in front of me, so now I had the Beyonce here. It was just so special, and like I had not felt that supported. I could see all the support around me happening in real time on camera.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful.
That's cool. I'm so happy to hear that, because I wanted to hear about that part, because I didn't see any other. I saw videos of you guys performing live,
yeah,
but not an actual one. So I'm like, let me ask you about that, because I mean, there has to be a story there.
Yeah, for sure. And more and more, whenever you're getting emails from booking agents or people who want to book you, the question is less, do you have a website, and more, do you have videos we can watch? Because the attention spans are so short now.
Yeah.
And now we have those videos. And I just never, when I started Bidi Bidi Banda, if you had told me that we'd be recording these songs and that the videos would look beautiful and they'd be what they are now, I just would have never expected it. So
that's cool. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Doing a tribute to Selena can also lead to an emotional, because she's not here. Yeah. So for you, how do you manage to remain sane and also just understand that like you're doing your own thing and you're not trying to take advantage of the name?
Yeah.
But you still want to give her tribute with good music, but at the end of the day, like it's your project. Like, how do you manage to do that, and how do you keep yourself sane from not feeling overwhelmed?
Yeah, Selena's fans are so committed to her and committed to preserving her legacy in a way that they feel that needs to be preserved.
Mm-hmm.
I went into this with an understanding that and so my feelings do still sometimes get hurt, but like I went into this trying to convince myself that it does not matter what other people think. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this because I love this, and I'm doing this because I want other people to who will respond to me in the way that I want to enjoy this music. And I picked I picked Selena because I love her so much, and I know the songs, and they're so special. And even now, next year's the 30-year anniversary of her passing, people will hear those songs and they resonate so closely. And to be able to share an experience like that, I have one friend, her name's Lisa Schmidt. Her favorite Selena song is Besitos, and I know that. And I know when I come to the show, when she comes to the show, that I'm going to, say something about Lisa loving Besitos and how she and I connected in this way because she loves Besitos. Mm-hmm. I know that my dad's favorite Selena song is Otra. I wish I had done a better job of chronicling all these Selena stories that people told me as soon as we started touring. I wanted to make sure that we preserved the relationship that we held with Selena's fans in such a way that it is respectful. Mm-hmm. I also wanted to make sure that as musicians from Austin, we were respectful to our fellow musicians from Austin. It's like if we were doing it in a way that was corny, or like people felt like we were encroaching on her and her legacy, or trying to be something like pick up where she left off. That's to me, that's awful.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. There's no other Selena. No one else in my opinion, and I'm a very serious Selena fan, no one else, in my opinion, could dance, dress, and sing like her the way she did it. And she was one of a kind. And it would be criminal and silly to try to be like, I'm going to do this just like her. I'm going to pick up the ball and carry it to the goal line for whatever that is worth. Yeah. It's more important to me to be distinctive as a musician from Austin who used to do the Selena tribute, or still does it, but, X, Y, and Z. I just feel like I wanted to maintain my integrity as a musician from Austin, and the way that I could do that was to be me on stage. So,
thank you. No, I appreciate you coming and sharing your story, sharing a lot of insights of Bidi Bidi Banda. How can people find you guys on social media, and also where can people buy tickets for the show at the Mohawk on December 21st and Paper Tiger on the 22nd.
Yes. So you can find more information about us on Facebook and Instagram at Bidi Bidi Banda, just like the song, Bidibanda. Bidibida. Bidi Bidi Banda. And then you can find more information about me at Stephanie Bergara on all your social media platforms. I just got to plug it because I want to, and they're my guys. My friend Rocky Reina, who plays bass in the banda, is also releasing music right now. You can find him at Rocky Reina. And then Miguel Aguilar, who plays drums, has music coming out next year. It's so good. I got to listen to some of it already. He's fantastic, and his Instagram is at Mike and the Coops. Don't miss it. Or Miguel Aguilar and the Coops, I think is what it is right now. You can buy tickets to our show on 1221 at mohawkaustin.com. You can buy tickets to our show 1222 at Paper Tiger. I don't know the website, papertigersanantonio.com maybe. But yes, all stuff's online. If you go to our social media, the ticket links live there. I can give you the tea on one big show we're announcing next year.
Let's do it.
Let me get my phone out so I get the date right. We are playing the 50th anniversary of the Longhorn Ballroom in Dallas in March with the Easy Band. Do you know who the Easy Band is?
No.
They do norteño covers of like major pop songs. So they've done a norteño cover of Hey There Delilah. They've done Linger by the Cranberries. They do all these norteño covers of very popular songs, popular pop culture songs. We're playing, what day is it? March 15th at the Longhorn Ballroom in Dallas, Texas. That is our first announcement for next year.
March 15th at the Longhorn Ballroom in Dallas, Texas.
With the Easy Band, yes.
With the Easy Band, okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Imagínate, you're like taking, farewell, and then boom, out of nowhere,
I know.
100 more bookings.
No, not 100.
Now you can call your shots.
Yes. So like I said, we're moving over to offer only. So we're just not seeking out a whole tour unless someone's like, hey, we're going to give you $2 million to do a tour. I'm like, I'll take $2 million. But it's just one of those things where it's got to make sense. Yeah. My son is 7, and when I started, I didn't have a son. And now he's 7, and he's got questions. Where are you going? Bigger question, can I go with you? Can I get on stage?
That's
I'm like, you can come with me, but you can't be on stage for this one. So he's got a little musician mind himself. He's great. And
then later on, 10 years from now, he's gonna be his own band.
Yeah, I'm gonna be managing him. I'm gonna be like, you gotta get on stage now or whatever. Be Mama Joe.
You want to get on stage?
Yeah.
Oh, really? This is your chance.
Yeah, he's great. He loves it. He loves playing with the band. He loves like hyping the crowd up. That boy is the life of the party. So if you ever come to one of our shows, he won't be there on the 21st or the 22nd, but he definitely has like the hype man energy, the big like, pay attention to me, big main character energy.
Nice. Well, Steph, thank you for reaching out to us, and also thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it. It's gonna be in Austin. It's gonna be the last show of the year. Mm-hmm. And by the time I release this episode, I'm gonna be in Mexico City celebrando el Guadalupe Reyes. So basically, it's parting from tomorrow, which is the Guadalupe, all the way to El Día de Reyes.
My mom's at church right now. Yes.
There you go. So I'm gonna be having a good time. Have a couple of recordings scheduled over there. Well, actually, one recording for sure. The other one's still up in the air. But yeah, if you don't get to hear me or Steph, hear Steph on the 21st or 22nd. But now, happy holidays.
Happy holidays. And can I give you your roses really quick? Thank you for making this podcast happen. 143 episodes.
42.
Yeah. 142 episodes. That's incredible. And you have such a wide variety of guests.
Yes.
I saw you had XB Valentine on a little while.
Yes.
I love her.
Yeah, it's my friend.
Oh, I love her, Bianca.
I think that's the one thing that I wanted it when I started this. Like, I love soccer, right? But I'm not going to be talking about soccer every week. Sure. Every week. I mean, I'm going to get tired of it. But I wanna cover and learn about musicians and their journeys. So it's like, I want to invite them here. So luckily, every artist that I like, they've been here. Of course, I mean, there's other ones that, they're not from Austin, so it's kind of hard. Yeah. But one day.
But just the work that you've done to hold space for Latinos in Austin in the podcast world is huge. Because there aren't very many podcasts like this that are like Latino hosted, Latino owned, Latino produced. It's very cool. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And like, say, for example, the one thing that happened this year, which I wanted it, is like, say, if any band wants to talk about their project here, why not?
Yeah.
So a lot of that happened this year, like,
It's awesome.
which is good.
Who was last week? Easy Compadre?
Y Chico Selfie.
Chico Selfie. I love them.
The day after, we all woke up a little hungover. We got carried away.
You know, it happens.
But it was a good time, though.
Alex from Chico Selfie plays in Como Las Movies.
Yes.
Yes, that's what. And then, yes, they all. I feel like Como Las Movies, Chico Selfie, and Easy Compadre. There's like a lot of overlap.
They're cousins. So you know those circles that there's like
they're like overlap circles.
That's what they are.
Like a Venn diagram of like bands.
Chico Selfie has, como like say Alex is in the circle of Chico Selfie and Como Las Movies.
Yeah.
Alfredo is in the circle of Easy Compadre and Como Las Movies.
Yes.
And then you have Nelson,
yes.
in his own circle.
Nelson's in his own circle. Yes.
So, but yeah, no, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming
Thank you for having me.
If anybody wants to come and have a band and share their story, you guys are more welcome to shoot me a message, and we'll make it happen.
I'm gonna start sending people your way. Good bands.
Dale. Bueno, se cuidan, se portan bien. Oh, and also, arriba la América, the best team in the world.
Okay.
They're gonna play the Tricampeonato final this week and all that.
Okay, I did not know. I learned something today.
There you go. Adios.